Hey, what's going on?
Not a lot.
All
Another
right,
beautiful-
hello, friends, and welcome to episode 7 of The Weird Turn Pro. Yep, number 7. I'm Mo Strummel down in Nashville.
I'm Jason Winfield in Lamont, PA. We're here for about an hour or so to listen to some new and exciting music. Welcome.
Yes, we have a special guest today, Steve Treado from Up in State College, and he's coming to us from his studio up there, as we can see. Very nice looking studio and very nice sounding studio, I might add, right? How you doing today,
Thank
Steve?
you. I'm doing great. Thanks, guys. How you doing, Mo and Jason?
Very good, very good.
We're good. Excited for today.
Yes, and because we like to get to the music right away, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're going to play first and let it swing for us.
Sure. I guess I'm going to start off with a song called Sparks, and I'm going to be using this actually four different instruments, throughout the show. I'm going to start off with this Eastman, and I'm not a representative of Eastman. I just am really enamored of all three of the stringed instruments I'm going to play. So this is a grand auditorium, which you can tell has like a big bud on it, and then a narrow waist, so it's got a cool sound.
Like that.
I'm going to start off with a song called Sparks. It's kind of a little bit of a folky kind of a thing. So give it a try here.
All righty.
It's a moonlit night when anything goes and everything comes around. Another time or two. I'm walking straight down a crooked line. The air is cold, the weather fine, but I miss you. It's one of those nights, just don't know. Take it fast, let it flow. Sometimes that's the way things go. You try to look up to see the stars, find out where you are and how you got this far. But when the night is dark, I can see the sparks off the wheels of my boot, streaming out like a carbon arc, heading back to you and all the time. I thought you knew that was all I could do. But when the sky is dark, I can see the sparks off the heels of my boots, streaming out like a carbon arc, heading back to you and all the time. I thought you knew that was all
I could do. Yeah, it's the kind of night you can't believe anything that you see, and nothing you've been told. Everybody wants to be free. That's why the life you lead can't be bought or sold. But when the sky is dark, I can see the sparks off the heels of my boots, streaming out like a carbon arc, heading back to you all the time. I thought you knew that was all I could do all the time. You knew that was all I could do.
All right.
I thank you.
Sounded good.
Excellent.
Sounded good.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Did I hear a welding reference in there at some point? Sure sounds-
Yeah, carbon arc. Yeah, that's the. I was trying to get visual there. That was a little.
Oh,
different,
that was that popped right into my head. See that? I got that. I had that visual in my head immediately. That very pretty song.
Oh, thank you.
Nice guitar
nice.
work also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much.
So-
Very
Appreciate
nice.
it. Yeah, I love this guitar. It's got a really easy. It's so easy to easy to play. When I picked it
Clearly.
up, actually, I was down at Alley Cat, Mark Ross's old place here in State College, and I was just showing him something. I brought coffee down, and we were talking. And I just picked this guitar up off the rack, and I'm going, "Oh my God, this is it right here!" And I have plenty of other guitars, but this one I really.
The
Really
worst thing a guitar player can do is take a guitar off the rack in a music store because you're walking out with it for sure.
And he had just gotten. Was just starting to work with Eastman, and I guess the guy had come around, the salesman, and he had it was the last stop, and he had these guitars, and he just said, "How about if I just leave them all here, and you can see what you can do with them?" So he had 8 guitars or something, different styles, because they make a lot of different ones.
Oh yeah.
They're really nice.
Well, that's really good.
It should be an Eastman show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have to say, I'm not an Eastman. I'm not connected with Eastman at all.
Jason has the same experience of pulling a guitar off the wall, playing it, walking out with it. I have that experience. I talked a long time ago. I ran into.
Uh-oh.
I think
Ran into somebody.
Mo is frozen for a second.
Yeah. So they ran it. Am I back?
You're back.
You're back.
Yeah. So I ran into a band on the road and talking to them in a bar because they had just got done their show, and we started talking about that. And he said his wife won't let him go into guitar shops anymore. Because
It used
he
to be
always comes home with one.
Yeah, it used to be bicycle shops for me at one point.
Yeah. Well, why don't we play another one and then we'll get into some other information about you.
Sure.
But let's get another one under our belt here because I really like that. And I'd like to get another one.
Well, I'm going to switch now to the second guitar I'm going to play, which I also I got all 3 of these down at the Alley Cat, and again, they don't even open anymore. It's hard, sorry to say. More. So I walked in. He said, "Well, you should try this travel guitar here." He said, "I've got it strung up Nashville tuning." And I said, "Well, what's that?" It's high strung. So it's, you guys know, it's other people may not. It's the other 6 strings that are on the 12 string. So it has a really nice chiming sound, beautiful. And the top 4 are an octave up, and then these 2 are regular. So you get some weird effects too, because as you're playing up, it goes down.
Yep.
So it's weird, but it's a lot of fun. It blends really well with other guitars too.
Yeah, it's definitely a signature of this town for sure.
Sure.
That sound, yeah.
That's the Nashville tuning. So anyway, I'm going to do a song called "Don't Worry About Me." It's kind of this country is more of a country type thing, so we'll see how that goes. So it goes like this. Well, I was born in a backwoods town. Nobody ever put me down. I was raised up right and free. So don't nobody never worry about me. Got me a girl, she's as sweet as honey. When we go out, I like to spend my money. She holds my hand, and she thinks I'm funny. So don't nobody ever worry about me. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm doing just fine. I'm keeping it real, rolling on down the line. Everywhere I go, you know I'm taking my time. For everything I see, don't worry about me. Someday real soon, maybe we'll start us a family with a couple of kids and a house named Muddy, a place of our own, somewhere warm and sunny. So don't nobody ever worry about me. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm doing just fine. I'm keeping it real, running on down the line. Anywhere I go, you know I'm taking my time. For everything I see, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, I'm doing just fine. I'm keeping it real, running on down the line. Everywhere I go, you know I'm taking my time. For everything I see, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely a different sound, right?
Oh,
Out of
yeah.
the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool
Yeah.
sound.
It's got a chimey, it's almost banjo-y, but not quite.
Yeah. A little less
So we
annoying
do-
than the banjo sound by
that-
itself.
Well,
I mean,
banjo players, we don't want to offend them too much, but just
well,
enough.
it is its own sound on its own.
Mhm.
So we do have Steve's some social stuff up there on the
Yep.
screen, so you can go check him out. Also,
Mhm.
he's been working very hard, and all of his stuff is up on SoundCloud now, so you can go and listen to some of his stuff there. I think it's a good time to let people know a little bit more about you right now. So I thought this would be a good moment to play My Hometown. So this is a game
Yes.
we play with our guests, and it also helps our guests learn about where you're from and everything. So right now,
Can I just
what
add, before you jump into the questions, my hometown, because I was in the military family, I was fortunate in that I ended up from the 6th grade through the 12th grade living in the same area of
Oh,
Virginia.
that's lucky. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good, man.
so my dad was in the Marine Corps. So anyway,
Well, then you're going to answer one of these questions in a split second, so we'll get that one done. But let's do the first one. The first one I went a little off the books for. So you are your hometown you've listed as Triangle, Virginia, right?
yes.
And so this is kind of interesting because Triangle, Virginia is not to be confused with the historic triangle that is also located in Virginia, what people call the historic triangle. Do you know what 3 colonial towns form the historic triangle?
Oh, geez. Well, I took in the 6th grade, or 7th grade, actually, I had to take Virginia history, which was kind of interesting because my teacher was fairly elderly and she was still a little bit upset about the Civil War. But I did learn a lot about Virginia, the Piedmont and the Tidewater and the fault line and all that. So I'd have to say maybe Jamestown and Williamsburg. I can't think of what the other one might be, but am I close at all?
Think the surrender.
Oh, yeah, Yorktown.
Yorktown, right?
Yeah,
So it's Yorktown, Williamsburg, and Jamestown.
Okay.
So there you go.
And they
So
have a lost
Jason-
colony down there too.
We have one.
Yes.
I'm going to give him one on that one. That
You're
was
gonna
that
give
was
him
good.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
score of 1 out of
Thank
1.
you.
So it's a good start. Now here's the one I think you're probably going to know pretty easily. Triangle, Virginia is bordered on the south by what U.S. military base?
That's right. That'd be Quantico. Marine Corps
Okay,
base.
very
Okay.
good.
We
And
How
we
you
have
doing,
to-
Jason?
We used to have a lot of fun. There's a Quantico town. They call that Q town, and you have to
Okay.
drive through the base to get there. And so when you get to the gate, if you didn't have the sticker, you had to turn left to go into Quantico town. But it's like a really cool little place there, and we used to go down there, crabbing and stuff like that all the time.
Oh, cool.
Oh man, that's outstanding. I did not know that. So see, this is an educational program.
This is
as well.
why we do this section. We need to learn a little bit more about our world.
And also the FBI Academy, you may know, is
right,
there
right.
too. And it used to be you could just drive right through it, and you'd look. They'd have like these little fake towns set up where they do all the training. And there was a reservoir there, and we'd all go out there and go fishing and swimming and boating. Now, of course, you can't get anywhere near it, but with all the security,
That's
that's
awesome.
come up.
Our lives have changed. And then the third and final question would be: within a half mile, how many square miles does Triangle, Virginia cover?
Oh my gosh, square miles, huh? I'd say 25.
2.6.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's not a big place.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's
not
not
a
an
big
incorporated town. There's a historic town
That's
right
correct.
next to it called Dumfries. And Dumfries, it was a port, believe it or not.
Okay.
When you go there now, you're going, that was a port, but it's all been filled in and stuff. And that
Well,
whole
we're going to
area.
give him extra credit for that because
Yeah.
he was
He-
correct.
he-
It's really
yes.
a census designated, whatever they call it. But we're going to give him the extra credit for that.
Yeah.
So you did win. So we've got a great
Yeah.
gift coming your way, and it could. We'll talk to you later about what you would like, but it could be one of these, because
This
we
is-
now have merchantise up on our
Oh my
site.
gosh.
Nice.
So this is
I
this
hope
is our
so.
Stay Weird
I hope so.
Turn Pro mason jar mug.
Guaranteed
with our
to-
logo and our slogan on there. So
Guaranteed to sweat your cold drink onto whatever furniture you have.
exactly. So this is a beauty here, right? So we're if you're interested in any Stay Weird Turn Pro merchandise, we have it on our website, so you can go there and get it. So we'll get your preference after the show, but congratulations on winning my hometown. Why don't we move on to another song, and then I think Jason's going to talk to you a little bit about some other stuff, more musically related.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me mention before we wrap up the hometown thing, it was Prince William County, where that's located, as an outer suburb of Washington, D.C. It's like 3 counties out.
oh right.
And it just went through this huge growth spurt while I was in high school. And they ended up having to build all these new schools. But the old school, there was only 2 big schools I take that back, 4 schools in the county, but 2 in the eastern part. And my school, which is called Garfield High School, not named after the president. It's a hyphenated Garfield.
Named after the cat.
Named after people. 2 different people.
Gar and Field.
I used to know. But anyway, I was just going to mention that about a few years ahead of me, I didn't know her, but Emmylou Harris was a graduate of my same
Oh,
high school.
wow.
So, and she was also Miss Woodbridge, and she was like big, famous person at that time, and
Wow,
she
well-
still remains the number one most famous alumnus from.
Well, maybe if she's watching, she'll send a note through Facebook and say hi. So we'll
I hope
wait.
so.
We'll wait for that.
Yeah.
We won't wait long.
I did
but
talk
we'll
to
wait.
her a few times. So she's was playing more in the area before she really
Right.
took off. So.
Right.
Right.
Awesome.
She doesn't know me, but all right. So I'm going to
Swing us
do.
another. Here we go.
I'm going to do a mandolin song now. I only started playing mandolin last year, and I tell people this, and you probably won't believe me, but it changed my life. Really, it's just so much fun. I was teaching lessons at the Y, mostly piano and guitar for kids and stuff, and adults too, but mostly. Somebody wanted to learn mandolin, and they said, "Well, can you teach mandolin?" I said, "Well, I've always wanted to learn, so why don't I get one?" Or I got
good
this
reason.
daily cat. And then they ended up not taking the lesson, but I ended up playing mandolin. I couldn't put it down. It just sounds so great. Well, you just go like that, and it's like, whoa, that's
Awesome.
It's like Steve Martin used to always say, you can't make a sad, because he plays the banjo. You probably
Right.
heard
Right.
him. He's like awesome. You can't play a sad banjo song, which isn't quite true. I think you can, but in other words, it's easier.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a song here called "Playing in a Traveling Band," or just "Traveling Band." Actually. So let's see. Never should have took to playing in a traveling band, living on the road, one night stands. Up on stage, I do the best that I can. Playing in a traveling band, when the highway sings its lonesome song, you know it's time to be moving on. Wheels are humming all night long. Playing in a traveling band, play all night, sleep all day. Full house, ten inside straight. Talk is cheap until you have to pay. Playing in a traveling band. Well, I've been this way once or twice before. It won't be long till it's easy road. Take the high road across the ford. Playing in a traveling band. Play all night, sleep all day. Pool house, beats and inside straight. Talk is cheap until you have to pay. Playing in a traveling band. Play all night, sleep all day. Pool house, beats and inside straight. Talk is cheap until you have to pay. Playing in a traveling band. Playing in a traveling band. Playing in a traveling band.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent.
And you make
Very
it fun
bouncy.
to. It looks like it's fun to play, just the way you're moving.
It is.
With it. I mean, that is.
People tell me, they say, you look like you're having so much fun. I am. I think every American should be issued a mandolin at birth,
Oh wow,
or have the option.
that's awesome. Well, okay, so you've already played a guitar tuned in Nashville tuning, a mandolin. What else do you play, sir?
Well, I play a bass, and I play piano and other keyboards. Those are my main things. And drums. I'm not really a real good drum. I mean, I'm not a drummer. I can play drums, but so in my studio here, I have
Right.
that. So
And I was looking up your studio. It looks like a
Mhm.
beautiful place. The one thing is you're not terribly far from me. I don't think. Yeah, look at that.
no,
Is
you
that
need
gorgeous?
you need to come over here. When the coast is clear, whenever that is.
Yeah,
I'll
whenever
let
that
you
can be.
decide. Yeah.
And what
So-
in what area of town are you located in?
I'm in the old part called the Highlands of
Oh,
the
okay.
borough. I've got fraternity next door and across the street, so nobody cares about noise
How-
I make. But I built it new from the ground up. I was in the architectural engineering department. I was a faculty until I retired a few years ago, and so I built. Know a lot about buildings, so I was able to combine my knowledge of buildings and construction
That's
with
awesome.
music. And so you can see it's got the high ceiling and it's all wood, and then it's the floor slab is isolated. It sits in 4 inches of foam, and so there's no outside. The only thing that really gets to me is the leaf blowers and the wood chippers when they're running
Yeah,
those outside. I just could do
that
something
pitch.
else.
Yeah, that's
That
hard to get
gets
rid of.
through. Because the wind, I got windows and stuff, but it really has nice acoustics in here, and I have the 1921 baby Kanabe baby grand piano. William Kanabe, they were made in Baltimore. It's not the Kanabe that you can get now new because some imported company bought the name. But so I got this down in Johnstown, the piano that I'm going to be using here in a bit. And then that organ that's there, that's a Hammond A100, which is a B3 with the addition of built-in amp and speakers.
Nice.
So then I've got the
Wow.
Leslie. I've got these actually in a building out in Phillipsburg that was up for sale that someone had back, I don't know, however long ago. It was just full of pianos and organs and stuff. And I didn't even know if it worked. The power was turned off. So I couldn't even turn it on.
Oh.
And I brought it back here, and it's not easy to move this.
No.
These things are tough, especially with the two Leslies on top of everything else. But anyway, I took it here and I hooked it up, and all of a sudden it's working, and I'm going. So I've learned a lot about those.
I bet that's a lot.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's a beautiful
Well,
space. It's a beautiful space.
Well, thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah, when
That's
this
right.
is all over,
For
I'm
sure,
sure I'll be
yeah.
I might make a trip up there just to
Of course, yeah,
spend
you're
some
welcome
time in that
anytime.
space. That sounds awesome. Yeah, fantastic. We're going to. I want to let our viewers, if anybody's out there who is a songwriter, who's interested in being on the show, this is how you do it. All you have to do is send us an email at weird@weirdpros.com. Send us links to your music, a good email, and your phone number, and we'll give it a listen. If we like what we hear, we'll give you a buzz and we'll get back to you. We do want you to know that we don't want you to use tracks. We want it to be live and in the raw. It's about the song, not about the production for us, because we are looking at the songwriting. If you're not quarantining together, you really need to do it solo until all this is over. And then obviously we can't really connect two places up together and get everything synced up. The stuff you're seeing that looks like that is usually filmed in advance. So just so you know, I think we're going to have Jason do a song now. We're going to give Steve a little break, a brief break here in the middle, so he can step away if he needs to. And we'll have Jason do a song for us. Jason, what are you going to do today?
I'm gonna play Ocracoke. It's my my ghost story. It feels like a kind of the right thing to go along with many instruments, and I'm noticing the artwork over Steve's shoulder, and it makes me think of the beach a little bit. So we're gonna run with that a little bit, and we'll see you on the other side. It was midnight by a bonfire on the Carolina coast, drinking dark rum from a bottle, toasting Blackbeard's ghost, contemplating conquest on Queen Anne's revenge, and knowing that his treasure is buried somewhere in this sand. Been a good week with a few friends, trying to drink the Jolly Roger dry. Living last night with a few friends, back for quite a while. Somewhere after last call, we stumbled to the point over teacher's hole. Needed to say farewell to the man of the hour before we started our voyage home. And the water turns to white foam as it crashed into the shore. And a legend was born when the pirate died just off this coast, you know. Some say his spirit roams this stretch when the moon is right. But David Jones released a ghost on an Ocracoke blue night. From the darkness he appeared, walking alone along the sand. I cried out, he said howdy, raised a bottle in my right hand. He said, I thank you kindly, don't mind if I oblige. You can't find a cure to what ails you on the other side. He said his name was Eddie, he could teach us many tales. How his eyes lit up when he talked about the plunders. He stayed for quite a while, drained my bottle, and he smiled. Said I better move on before the sun starts rising. And the water turns to white foam as it crashed into the shore. And a legend was born when the pirate died just off this coast, you know. Some say his spirit roams this stretch when the moon is right. But David Jones released a ghost on an Ocracoke blue night. And the water turned to white foam as it crashed into the shore. And a legend was born when the pirate died just off this beach, you know. Some say his spirit roams this stretch when the moon is right. David Jones released a ghost on an Ocracoke blue night. It was midnight, pipe on fire on the Carolina coast.
Cool.
Yeah, another ghost story. Very
Ghost
good.
story, yeah. You know, it goes with the beach.
I was born in North Carolina, actually.
Were you?
Part of the military. Yeah, Camp
Oh,
Eugene, so,
Ah,
yeah.
very
Of course,
good.
the Marines. There.
So we've got.
I didn't
we've got
even
another
realize I was
segue.
going there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Nice.
Well, the good thing about the Marine Corps is they're part of the, they're like they're the Army for the Navy. The Navy is
Right.
like they have their own Air Force and their own Army. So, but they're all on the coast. So I was California, Virginia mostly. So it was pretty cool. People from California think I'm from Virginia, and people from Virginia think I'm from California. Now I live in Pennsylvania. I love it up here. I moved up here about 10 years ago, so it's really nice.
So you taught at Penn State for a while?
Yeah, I did for 8 years. Yeah.
Oh, good. And over in the architecture department.
Architectural engineering. So
Engineering
so
department,
here's
right?
here's what architects do. We're going to have this building that's going to be made out of glass and it's going to float. How are we going to make that? And then the architectural engineers have to figure out how to do it.
Right. That's kind of like a technical director too
Yeah,
in the theater,
yeah,
which is our background. So it's kind of the same thing. The designers hand us something.
I
and
want a
often-
cantilevered platform, but I want it made out of plexiglass, and I can only be a quarter of an inch thick. But we
Yeah.
need to have a chorus dance on it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's about right.
Well, that's interesting. That's funny. So did you work in the? A lot of our guests don't know what we're talking about, but did you work in the building right next to the Playhouse there, right next to the arts building there?
Our department was in what's called the engineering units, which is right next to the
right on
Okay.
College Avenue.
behind, right off College, behind the engineering building that
Behind
they're
Hammond there. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Hammond,
All right.
that's right. So,
Okay. Well, that's interesting. See, small world. There you go. Why don't you give us another song, Steve?
Sure,
What do you got up
I'll
next?
I'll go ahead and turn to the piano, and I'm gonna do a song called "Different Point of View."
Awesome.
See how that goes.
I know it's late, but I had to call. Too many nights and dawns, so many days, so many dreams. This is not what it seems. Can I hold you like a wildflower holds the morning dew? When the morning sun climbs higher, a different point of view. The day is done, soon will be tomorrow, same as yesterday. Our time will come, sure as the sunrise slowly fades away. Can I hold you like a wildflower holds the morning dew? When the morning sun climbs higher, of a different point of view. Can I hold you like a wildflower holds the morning dew? When the morning sun climbs higher, for a different point of view. I know it's late, but our heads cold. Too many nights and dawns, so many days, so many dreams. This is not what it seems.
Nice.
Thank you.
Wow. I got to tell you, my wife Joan is the producer for the show, so she's sitting across the desk here from me. She's pushing all the buttons, making everything happen that you see
Oh,
happen.
thank
So
you,
thanks,
Joan.
Joan, for doing that.
That's right.
But she looked up at me and she went, "Wow, that has to be influenced by Van Morrison." And the
Yeah.
sound is, I mean, I feel like that. So
She
we may be
nailed
wrong.
that so exactly. Because I had a Van Morrison song in my head, and I had to make sure it wasn't too close, with that part.
But she definitely got the feel. So that's that song is also timely right now, right? I mean, to me, listening to that, is a little bit of heartstring pulls right now because of everything that's going on.
That's right. That's I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point. So I guess all these that I'm playing today are all. I guess I've done them this year. Probably since the beginning of the year. So I
Could have
had
been subconscious. Yeah.
I had a bunch of songs last year because I did an album in 2016. No, what 17? No, 16 and 17. No, I didn't do one last year. I had songs, but I never put them out. So you don't know what to do with albums these days because people, what is an album? I don't even know. It's a collection.
Right. Exactly. The world has changed. The world has
Yeah, a
definitely
little
changed
bit.
for music. It's very different about how you plan things and what you do. I want to real quick just let people know who we have coming up next week, and then Jason's probably gonna. I think we're gonna see what you were doing last week. I think you were doing something last week with a fundraiser, so we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh,
But
yeah.
next week we have William Ryan will be coming on with us. And I think I think there is a connection between you and William, right, Steve?
That's right.
Am
He's
I
been
right
here
about
in the
that?
studio, and he won a songwriting contest, the Pennsylvania Heritage. So I'm sure he'll talk
Yeah.
about that. But
Yeah.
the CD Times was doing an interview and did a video interview, and they came to the studio here, and he ended up recording it. And then he ended up staying and recording, and I was working on some stuff with him. He's got
Outstanding.
There seems to
really
be
great.
more connections in that because he was in the Marine Corps as well, was
That's true. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Very true. So that should be fun, and I'm sure he'll talk about that experience for us,
Yeah.
and we'll see what it's like working in your studio. So that
Exactly.
Be cool.
We're gonna get sales pitches on here too.
There you
Um,
Yeah.
and last weekend you were part of the shindig with
The 137.
137. Yeah.
Mhm.
How was that experience for you?
Oh, that was interesting. It's a very good cause, of course, because all these places are closed down and people are like thrown out of work. So it was really good. That was the case where you send in the videos. So
Right.
I picked 3 of them. I've been shooting videos in here, sometimes live, but I had one live video actually from 3 Dots. I'm going to do that song that's on my list for tonight. It's called Old
Okay.
River Line. Excuse me. And then I had done some videos here, which is basically, more with the full band sound, but just, me in one case. As a matter of fact, that Don't Worry About Me song, I did a video with me playing all the instruments, one at a time. So you got to do it 5 times. And then, then you come back and learn how to do video editing, which I'm getting better at. The syncing is always the issue because plus I'm a terrible lip syncer of myself. I'm like overact totally. I'm like my mouth. I got to make sure people think I'm really singing.
That's awesome.
Well, I think video editing is a skill though that songwriters, musicians, they should probably learn because especially right now because you're sitting at home, you should probably learn that skill because
my newest one was even I finally I just like kludge through these things and sledgehammer something out, and before they don't have manuals anymore. If they would just like have something I could read,
Yeah, it's a button at the top of the screen along the.
So this shindig event, Scott McKenzie does a lot of the organization on that, right? And he's a great guy.
It was Scott. Yeah.
He's a couple years ago I ran sound down at the brewery when he held it down there, and they had a silent auction and all kinds of stuff. So I do think they got a pretty good viewership out of this, and I do think that they did raise a pretty good amount of money for Center Helps.
Yeah, there was an update a day or two ago, and he said there was quite a few views, and viewing was way up. And so.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
good. So we
good.
put a little QR code if you want to scan it on your phone or take a picture and you want to help out. Literally, they help with. We can't even list everything that they help with because they're pretty open-ended, and if somebody needs help, they'll take care of it. So if you want to help out folks in the center region, that's how you can do it right there. So let's get to why don't we get to another piece right now. What are you going to play next for us?
Sure, I'm going to go back to the high strung, and I'm going to do a song called Bluesy Music. So let's see how that one goes.
Bluesy music makes me want to stand up and sing. If you play me a song, I'll give you this diamond ring. Play no mind if I sing along. Nod your head if I come in too strong. Bluesy music, playing it all night long. Bluesy music, bound to keep you satisfied. Started off easy, no need to run and hide. Gonna lift you up by the hand, lead you on to the promised land. Bluesy music, playing it all night long. It may sound crazy, but the more I learn, the less I know. That's of my concern. Sometimes I think I'm getting in too deep. The mountain's high and the road is steep. It may sound crazy, but the more I learn, the less I know. That's my concern. Sometimes I think I'm getting in too deep. The mountain's high and the road is steep. Bluesy music never goes out of style. When you hear it, it's bound to make you smile. On this point, you can rely. Every day we'll be by your side. Bluesy music, playing it all night long. Bluesy music, playing it all night long.
Nice.
All right.
It's
Very
a little
nice.
old timey feel, kind of
Yeah, that's fun. That's a very fun
It's-
song.
thing.
It's a little swampy too. In
Oh,
the,
yeah,
in the way
there's
it
that,
feels
yeah.
to me. Yeah. So that's I like.
Yeah,
it.
it's funny because you're playing it in E, and then you get these redundant notes because the upper two strings are there. Yeah, just have to be
Yeah,
careful. It's these
Do you have to
G
detune
string
that?
is the highest. It's tuned just an octave up, but the G string is the highest string on the guitar.
Do you detune it before you put it away? Like,
Well,
before you
that's
set
a
it
good
aside?
point. I haven't been really. The tension is not really that different because you're
Okay.
using the smaller strings.
Right.
it's,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just I think I tuned a guitar like that once, and now that you've played all this, I have another guitar that I'm looking at, and I'm going, I should probably throw a set of
Maybe
those
I
on
should
there.
try that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was thinking, I wonder if I'm supposed to detune that every time if I do that. So
Yeah,
that's
no, I
a-
don't think the
that's-
tension's
yeah.
any. I mean,
Okay.
at least that's the way I did it. I just picked strings that were, the closest to, engaged to,
Right.
that pitch. So,
Okay.
like the G string here is the one with the most tension. It is a little tricky tuning. I mean, it's very sensitive. You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Very good.
That's fun.
Thanks. I'll set this back down.
That's a lot of fun.
Jason, you want to move on to? I think he has a new album coming out. Or he's
Yeah.
working on an album.
Yeah. Your new
right?
album out or coming out soon? When
Well,
is it? What is the release time?
So I've got it's called Off the Grid. I do have a cabin up in way off the grid in Michigan, like way up there.
We're up in Michigan.
in Upper Peninsula.
Oh, UP. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the
Nice.
UP. If you say UP, you never know if people know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. You Youper.
My parents were from that area, so I had family roots back there. But so anyway, I called that Off the Grid, and these songs that I just played are on it, and I have I haven't I'm still trying to figure out all the songs that might be on there. I have 13 on there right now, but I may add a few more. I'm still kind of sorting through them, but I haven't made a CD. I'm debating, like, these days, do you make a CD? I mean, to get them replicated, you got to make a whole bunch of them, and then you got to figure out if anybody ever wants them. But I have it, on SoundCloud now, called Off the Grid.
Okay, cool. So look out for SoundCloud for Off the Grid for Mr. Steven Treado. That sounds. I'm heading there this evening, I'm sure. So awesome.
Good. Well, thank you.
I think I read somewhere the other day, somebody said there are no more rules, so you kind of just make it up and do what you want to do. I know that that when if I'm going to release music, I try to make enough CDs to send to radio stations. But
there are some people who still like CDs. I like
CDs. The rest of it is most of the rest of it is digital. There's even digital distribution now to the radio stations, so you can work with a company like CDX here in Nashville, who will send it to all the Americana. Like when I do a release, try to send it to all the Americana radio stations that they deal with, and it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit less expensive, but
I like to use them as I don't really care about selling them. I just like to have them as more like a calling card. Meet somebody. Yeah, here's what I'm doing now. I'll
tell you what else I've done to think about. If I like one of the companies that I work with, obviously is CD Baby, but I'll order download cards along with it instead of the CDs, because sometimes when I'm out playing, if I hand out the download cards, it's easier for people to stick in their pocket and take it away from the bar or wherever I'm playing than a CD. So it's a little bit handier. Plus, you can also send those to like blog writers and things by putting them in an envelope, and you can send them so they can download them. So it's a little bit different. If you have fancy artwork, I mean, that's important, I think, to have a CD or vinyl then, right? I mean, people are starting to buy vinyl again, so it's.
I'm not that good of an artist, so I use photos that I take, or other people take for me, and you can get some pretty cool stuff, and that way it's all done. You don't have to worry. If you get a really nice photo, like my first couple albums, I spent some really cool, and I put something on the disc that if you really look at it, you go, oh, look, there's a tree.
Still something to holding it in your hand.
Yeah, in your hand.
I just want to remind everybody who's viewing right now, please, if the option is subscribe, please subscribe to our channel. If you can share it with other folks, help us spread the word, because that's part of the deal. We're trying to spread the word about all these folks' music, and once it's out there, you can also watch the replay. If you're watching a replay, remember to donate if you can to Center Helps. Take care of the folks, and don't forget we have William Ryan next week. I think we have time for one more song, right? So let's get another one in here.
Okay. So this is another more of a traditional country type song. It's called "The Old River Line." Go back to using this.
And the moon stood still, like it always will, on the banks of the old river line. the trees that we used to climb. I remember the night that we fell in love. It was only a matter of time. When I held you tight, I felt so right. Then we danced through the night till the dawn. Just wishing that we could hold on. When I climb that hill, I can see you still. Of the old river line.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Nice song.
Very nice. Is that Jimmy?
Huh?
Say it
Jason?
again.
Is that
Oh,
Jimmy?
That's my cousin.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, listen, Steve, thank you so much for joining
Well,
us.
thank you for
today.
having me. I really
We're
appreciate it.
so happy that you joined us, and your music is beautiful. Jason, I mean,
Yeah. Excellent
this
stuff.
was a good
That's
show,
just
huh?
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, and once we're able to be within arm's length of each other, I'll reach out, and I'd love to
Sure.
come see your space and
Well, I
see
appreciate the
how
opportunity
works.
to be able to be on. You guys are welcome to come by anytime. We'll
Yeah,
lots of
great
fun.
songs.
Great songs.
Thanks to my
Love your
wife
work.
again, Joan, for pushing all the buttons for us and making it all work. And we'll be back here next Thursday with William Ryan. Same
Yeah, check
bat
out Bill.
time,
He's
same bat
awesome.
channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great
Um,
guy.
yeah, just remember everybody, as Hunter S. Thompson said, when the going gets weird,
The weird turn pro.
there you go. We'll see you all next week. All right.
Have a good week.